You know, there's always one thing I have wondered myself is how much does the Audi e-tron use when it is in the winter time, and what's the real consumption of it on the Autobahn? 100 kilometers, going fairly normal in efficiency mode, driving is normal like how I would. And then the other way is basically full blast back, so another couple of kilometers on full blast, and then we can see how much the real world usage is, and also basically see how fast the car charges once it's fairly low in the winter conditioning. We have 4 degrees outside right now, so we're gonna definitely put the car to the test, and I'm also along the way gonna tell you everything about the car. So hopefully you guys do enjoy, and welcome back. So we did just turn onto the highway, so we are now 6 kilometers on the highway. I've put the speed limiter up to 130. We're in efficiency mode. That means the car is gonna lower all the way down because it does have an air suspension, meaning it's going to go down, I think, around 25 millimeters extra, which is very, very low, so to the ground, and that just makes it very aerodynamic. It has a CV value of 0.24, and we're going to see what we can get this WLTP down to, or our range down to. We started with, what was it, 69%? Yeah. Oh, very nice. We're going to see how far that go. Our distance that we're going to travel here is around 80 kilometers, so I'll check in with you guys in between and also tell you a little bit more about the car along the way. So while we're cruising a little bit here on the Autobahn, let's talk a little about the interior. I personally really do like it because there's a couple of aspects in here that I first of all didn't like too much in the configurator, but then when I'm sitting inside of it, I really do like. For instance, this nut tree that we have on here, which looks quite nice. It's going to cost you 770 euros extra, but that looks very nice because it is also real wood and fairly high quality wood as well. Just uplifts the interior a little bit more. You got a very minimalistic design with a lot of Alcantara, which I really like. Heads-up display, a fairly big infotainment display. The navigation display is fairly small, but it is the same as, for instance, an A4 RS3 that we already had, or the A5, which is a very, very nice system. It's easy to use. And also it doesn't have the climate control integrated into there, which I really like because those are still physical buttons. You have heated seats. You don't have heated steering wheel, which I'm a little bit sad about. That would have been very, very nice. But you do have also heated seats, and we also have this, actually no, they are fake leather. They're not real leather. So these are also seats that you can opt for if you don't want any real leather, but you can also get some real leather in here. Inductive loading there as well. And in general, the cabin noise in here is also very quiet. We're currently cruising at around 130, and you can hear. You just hear a little bit of tire noise. That's due to the asphalt right now. But it is fairly quiet here because the isolation here is very good. The doors are insanely big, and also the windows have like a double layer to it, so they're really, really quiet, which I really like. To give you a quick intermission of where we are right now. So we are currently left at, how many kilometers do we have left? We have 22 kilometers left, so around 20 minutes. We have a range left of 199. Just to give you a quick comparison, we started with 270 kilometers, and we have driven a total of 60 kilometers, so not too bad. And we have used an average consumption of 25.8 kilowatts an hour. The average speed we also have 116, so not bad. We're currently in construction zone, so it's going to go down quite a lot. But 25.6 is not that bad. WLTP claims for combined 21 to 22. We are only doing highway right now, so that's actually not too bad. It's going to give you a range of 350, something like that. 350 kilometers? Yeah, around 350 kilometers. So not that bad, but we'll see what we get at the end. It's also 4.5 degrees outside, so we'll definitely have to see how fast we can also charge. So what's the total we got after 76 kilometers driven on the Autobahn? Average speed we had was 110. It took us 41 minutes, and we had the adaptive cruise control set to 130, and so that tells you the traffic was fairly clear, but that's obviously with construction zone, that speed is going to go down a little bit. The battery in here is a 93.7 kilowatts an hour battery, a 93.4 kilowatts an hour battery, and also total usage that you can have is an 83.7 kilowatts an hour battery. So a fairly big battery with the 800 volt technology. You can charge it theoretically at 270 kilowatts. We are going to see that once we are charging, but that should get you from 10 to 80% in around 22.5 minutes. What we got for the usage that we have was a 23.7 kilowatts an hour usage, which is going to give you a range of around 351 kilometers, so a fairly decent range considering it's fairly cold outside. You could theoretically also turn the air conditioning fully off. We have it on eco right now, but still, that is a very good value. And now let's head back with full top speed, or the fastest we can go, and see how much we use that way. So let's hit into the dynamic mode, or the individual, because that's where everything is on sport. That's what I put it onto. And we're also going to reset our trip meter here now. So we'll hold that down, and you can see the suspension is also going to go up a little bit compared to the efficiency mode. But once we're over, I think 140, it's going to go all the way down as well. We are currently at 47%, so let's see what we can get. And let's see this kick off the car. There you go. You can see it just pushes you straight out there with 530, and if you get the non-boost version, you're going to be at 476 horsepower. top speed is also 245, so let's see if we can go a little bit above it or if it's gonna limit that. Yeah, so 244 is what the top speed claims here right now. And the wind noise are definitely very loud now compared to when you're driving at 130. So let me also give you a couple of information about the car. So the car is going to weigh around 2.3 tons. It does have a fairly big battery. I think it weighs almost 650 kilograms. You're going to get from 0 to 100 in 4.1 seconds if you have the boost mode on. And if you don't have the boost mode on, that happens if you're in dynamic mode and you also have the traction control completely off. Otherwise, you're going to be limited to those 476 horsepower. That's what the non-RS version has. If you want more, you can obviously get the RS version. And you're also going to get then from 0 to 100 in 4.5 seconds, so a little bit more, which is still plenty and enough. The car's also going to start at around 106,000 euros, and it's going to set you back in our configuration around 131,000 euros. But you can see with that electric power just how quick that and instant that power is. It's insane. $170 and let's see how quickly it goes up. 180, 190, 200, 205, 210, 215. It is fairly quick. Jeez, and it's like a really interesting, I don't know what sound that is, if that's the engine sound or if it's like the wind noise. You hear that like, yeah, okay, that's the engine. It's like a really high-pitched sound as soon as you go a little bit faster on the car. But even at 150, how much this thing just accelerates. It does also have 2 gears in here, which you can definitely notice at some point, and it just gives that extra kick in there as well. You do also have rear spoiler, which does not accelerate, but it moves out as you go faster and also braking, so that is going to go out as well. You can also manually do it if you go down here and you can press that button up there. Which is going to open up the spoiler, which does look pretty cool from the outside, but sadly you can't see it through the rear view mirror. You know what that means? That is the best sign in the whole world right there. Better than freedom. No, I'm just kidding. It's the best sign. Because you can do this, you can do a full kickdown and then you got an idiot who's passing a truck at 80 kilometers an hour. That's what happens. That is also why, because we have to keep accelerating and down, and we didn't completely factor in how much actually this is going to use. We're only going to do around a 50 kilometer test, because we just have 100 kilometers of range left and we need to go 50 kilometers to actually reach our charging point. Otherwise, well, we're gonna have to call a towing truck, and I'm not the biggest fan of that. But we're currently at 41 with an average speed now down to 139. It was 165 previously, so we'll have to pick up here a little bit and now do some more fast driving. Okay, so we did just reach the 50 kilometers and we have to slow down now because otherwise we're not going to reach it. Actually, it might be very, very close to reaching it home. So I'm going to put this into efficiency here. But that's, we'll talk about the complete stats that we had once we're at the charging port. So to get our total values of the consumption that we had, our fast speed was an average of 42.3 kilowatts an hour. It took us a total of 25 minutes to go a total of 60.3 kilometers, and also 143 kilometers was our total speed that we had on average. So a fairly high value. If you look at the other value, that was our consumption while we were going slow. We already did take a look at that, never mind, why am I even telling you that? Let's take a look at the charging speed that we had. So in total, it took us 21 minutes to completely charge the car from 8 to up to 81%. The max speed we had was 223.9 kilowatts, which is very quick, 21 minutes. Claimed is from 5 to 80% in around 21.5 minutes, so a fairly decent rate. So what is my final verdict on the car? Well, this thing is very fun to drive. I would have liked maybe a little bit of a higher top speed. The RS model doesn't actually get any more top speed on here. And in general, the car with the 800 volt technology is obviously going to allow you to go fairly fast when it comes to the loading speed. And driving on the Autobahn with that acceleration is just amazing. However, the car is obviously going to cost you a lot, so this is more of a car for the rich, and that is totally not me, so I can never afford this car. But hopefully you guys did enjoy the video, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.